Hello chess friends and welcome to Jozarov's chess channel and welcome to a very important chess story about a chess prodigy who became now the world's youngest international master in chess history. So it's Abhimanyu Mishra, a very important person, I think, in the future chess world, because he has become now an intermaster at the age of 10 years, 9 months and only 3 days. So he broke Praggnanandhaa's record for 17 days, which is, I think, a big thing, because Praggnanandhaa's record was basically unbreakable, and now Abhimanyu Mishra broke his record, and we'll see how his career is going on, because I think Praggnanandhaa's career is going well, perfectly fine, because he won now, I think a couple of months ago, this World Youth Championship under 18 section, so only at the age of 14. So these two fellas, I think, have a bright future in the chess world. And I read, when I saw this news about Abhimanyu Mishra, I read now many articles about him, and I watched many videos. And his father said that he taught Abhimanyu to play chess only at the age of 2.5 years. So my son will become now 2 years old, and I think I'll start slowly to introduce him to this chess world, trying to show him at least the pieces, how he should place pieces, how to set up the board, and similar ideas. I was always a little bit concerned about this fact, when to start to play chess with your kids, because it sometimes can be really annoying for kids to play chess, especially when at this very young age. And I don't know, it's my kid, and maybe you can give me some suggestions when I should start, when I shouldn't start, or similar ideas, because we see here Abhimanyu Mishra started at the age of 2.5 and became now really the youngest international master in chess history. So today I wanted to show you a great game by him. I wanted to show you how strong he is, how good prepared he is, because I watched now also many of his games, and I saw that he's using the lines that Vishy Anand is using. Basically, when I always analyze Abhimanyu's games, most of the times games were played by Vishy Anand in the same particular line. So of course, if you want to look up to anyone, I think Vishy Anand is perfectly fine, because he plays great chess also in his later stage of the life, and that's why watching Vishy Anand's games is really perfectly fine, and you can stay onto it and make really some good progress. So let's see a game now by Abhimanyu Mishra. I wanted to show you how good he really prepared this. He played a very nice Paulsen variation. So when I was 10 years old, I wasn't even familiar with this Paulsen variation. I didn't even know that this Paulsen variation existed. So here Abhimanyu plays a perfect Paulsen variation. So here e5. You see, it's very tricky in this game. So c5, knight on f3, and now we have e6, the Paulsen variation. It's a little bit like sort of a French setup, with playing this e6 with preparations to play d5, and now d4. Here we have c takes d4, knight takes on d4, and now knight on c6, immediately challenging this knight, and now knight on c3. One of the ideas of this Paulsen variation can be sometimes to create this very annoying pin, and then after that knight on f6, but it leads into a complicated line. Here Abhimanyu plays a very interesting move, queen on c7. It's still common theory of this Paulsen variation, because if you try something like knight on b5, it doesn't bring you so much, because you have this move queen on b8. It seems now like a weird move for the queen, but after something like g3, we can play simply here knight on f6. And here after bishop on g2, we can play a6, kicking away the knight, and maybe in some occasion we could also try b5 or even d6, bishop on e7, bishop on c5. You see, it's really a flexible opening, so that's why I don't think after this move queen on b8 you don't that you have so many wars. So in the game, bishop on e3 was played, and now a6, now preventing finally this knight on b5 idea, because now the bishop is developed, and now here queen on f3 played by Abhimanyu Abhimanyu's opponent. So knight on f6, also a very interesting idea, now simply developing pieces, but now white castled. And this game was also played between Maxim Vachier-Lagrave and, as I said, Vishy Anand, so with the black pieces. So Abhimanyu is using really this opening preparations of Vishy Anand. Here, after castling, we have now knight on e5. Very interesting line, because here after queen on g3 we have this pitting idea of blacks, and now we have b5. And there is always this tactical possibility after bishop on b5 and knight takes on b5. Here a3 first was played by Abhimanyu's opponent, and now bishop on b7. And now the game becomes really tactical. Bishop on b5. If you take a takes b5, it's basically game over, because here we have knight takes on b5. Here you have to play something like queen on b8, and now bishop on b6 is very dangerous. So here bishop on c6 can be played, but now knight on c7. You see, after king on e7, it's not good because you lose the rook, and now bishop on d4. But very important. After d6, I think we can even take out this knight and have a comfortable game. So even f4, maybe here the best move, simply kicking away the knight, and with this rooks on the f and e file, black is simply lost here. So, but in the game after bishop on b5, you see how very well prepared Abhimanyu is. Here he played simply rook on c8, not falling for this, simply going with this rook on the c file. If the position of course opens, then we have even some checkmate threats here on c2. Bishop on f4 was played, and now knight on h5, creating the fork on the queen and the bishop. Here bishop on e5 was played, but now first knight takes on g3, of course taking the queen. Bishop takes on c7, but now of course we take first the rook. Rook takes on knight takes rook on h1. We have rook takes, and now bishop takes on c7. Here we have bishop on d3, but now here again a nice tactical shot. Again bishop takes on a3. If you take, then of course we'll take here knight on c3. So that's why knight on b5 was played. But here Abhimanyu finds again a nice tactical move. Bishop takes on b2 first. So first we take the pawn, then after that we take the knight, and after knight takes on b5 we have rook on c6. And most of us would play something like, I don't know, rook on f4, but it leaves here white the opportunity to maybe play something like knight on d6 and then cement the knight with e5. So here Abhimanyu plays simply rook on c6, not allowing any good moves here for white. Knight on d6 is not an option anymore, and here rook on a1 was played. And now castling. Now we are up the exchange. We want to activate all of our pieces. We have king on c1, and now rook on b6 attacking the knight. f3 fixing the position on the light squares, but now rook on a8. A simplification, of course, it's a good idea, simply trading off rooks, going into a favorable endgame, and that's why rook on b1, not allowing this types of variations. So bishop on c6, again with the preparation to somehow simplify the position. c4, white is trying to build sort of a fortress, but it's not possible, because here Abhimanyu plays very accurate rook on a2, gets use of this a file. Now we have bishop on c2, but now rook on b8. Here Abhimanyu isn't even risking some pass pawn situation after something like bishop takes on b5, maybe c takes b5. You have to worry about this pawn. That's why here this very good move was to retreat with the rook here on b8, but now after e5, now to go first with the king, then we'll trade off this bishop for the knight, but we want to secure first our king towards the center, then we can always battle against this potential pass pawn on the b file. So king on e7, we have king on d1, h5. Here we have king on c1, and now bishop takes on b5. Now you see Abhimanyu is very close with the king to this pawn on b5. We have c takes b5, and now rook on c8. Very nice tactics here, because you have to trade off the rooks. Now we have rook takes on b2, king takes on b2, and now rook on c5 attacking both of these pawns. Here we have bishop on d3, rook takes on e5, and now the king comes into the game. But now, of course, king on d6, not allowing here some king on d4 ideas. We have king on b4, and now king on c7. We have king on c4, we have king on b6, and now basically this game is over. In the next move, we can also try to give up even the rook for the bishop, because then if we take, then we have this pass pawn. We are 2 pawns up, and this is of course a completely winning endgame here for black. So king on d4, we have rook on d5, king on e4, and now comes this idea: rook takes on d3, king takes on d3, and now king on b5. And many moves were played from this point on, but here in this position it's basically resignable here for white, because we have this pass pawn and white cannot do anything against it. So this is game over. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this game. We'll follow now Abhimanyu's career more and more. I think this is really one of this real chess prodigies, because I think we'll talk about him more in the future when he faces maybe some great bigger players like Praggnanandhaa, when maybe he'll face in near future even Magnus Carlsen, who knows. So I wish him all of the best, but of course I wish him also that he stays tough and that he continues to work, because we saw Sergei Karyakin is still the youngest grandmaster in chess history. But he never became the world champion, and that's a fact, and that's why I really want Abhimanyu to continue. Also Praggnanandhaa, it's very important to have this new masters coming and rising in this chess world, because chess is evolving. We see also in these games between Stockfish, Lila C0, Alpha 0, so there is still room for improvement, and I think we'll in the future maybe we'll have the clash Praggnanandhaa against Abhimanyu. So okay, I hope you enjoyed this game. Meanwhile, you can watch my other material on my YouTube chess channel, like my commented chess games, my best chess games of all time, or the best chess games played by computers. And you can also subscribe to my channel if you like this content. Thanks you for watching, guys, and chess is the best, of course.